Hello, hello, hello. I'm Stewall, and today we continue reading World and Economica, episode 2. So, firstly, I guess I can say here what or at least apologize for there is no reaction today on this channel. Well, I already post about it in community post, in community tab, but I kinda have problem with copyright. Like episode 9, and actually next one, episode 10 of the Apothecary Diaries, was struck pretty hard by copyright. Well, it was able to recognize anime, and because of that, it's pretty much flagged most of the episode as claimed, which means I can't just mute it because then I'm gonna mute entire episode. So I am right now trying to figure out stuff. Mostly, I try to speed up things a little bit and make anime a little bit quieter, and I think it's working. So I'm just uploaded episode 9, and since it still get copyrights, but at least it's not copyright about full episode, it's just copyright about music, and then it's just music and I cannot mute, especially since it is short parts, like mostly around minutes or something, so I can just mute it. So I gonna try it, and then if it's gonna work, I gonna make episode public. So it's probably gonna be get public tomorrow, and I also gonna be trying with episode 10, so it's gonna be released in time in the Tuesday. Anyway, so I actually have no idea if someone who actually watched my reaction even noticed that I have streams, but still I think it's a good thing to say it here, just in case. Anyway, let's get back to our visual novel, World and Economica. So previously, I believe stop in some random moment, or unless. Yep. By the way, I just realized I forget to change thumbnail and put timestamps for the previous episode. Probably gonna do it on the weekend. Anyway, so on previous episode, well, firstly we learn what Harold's suspicion about Avalon actually didn't work. They have everything in check, everything okay with their energy production, I guess, which I'm a little bit surprising. But I guess find what's gonna be wrong with Avalon, it's not so easy. Then there was a little bit sad moment when Haru was hung out with Chris, especially when Chris being down because of the your first losses on the market. But unfortunately, Haru again kinda worried more about stuff, about market, about, well, Avalon right now, and not about actual people around him. And because of that, he chose to go to Eleanor for talking about Avalon instead of staying with Chris when she really wanted it, which make me really sad, especially because I kinda wanted to Haru and Chris be together. I don't know why. It's actually a little bit strange for me because I'm usually rooting for the first pairing. But for some reason I kinda like more Haru with Chris than Haru with Hagana. Maybe because from what we know, Haru and Chris actually spent much more time with Chris helping him after his, I don't know how to call it, injuries, trauma, I guess, after accident in the first episode, if you can call it accident. Anyway, and they was together quite for a long time. Also, Chris kinda cute. Anyway, but with Haru constantly denying Chris, I think it's probably not gonna work out. Like, even if right now it feels like Haru start slowly moving from his crush on Hagana, and he even was on date with Chris, and kinda a little bit flirty with her, but mm, who knows? For now it's not feels like it's gonna work, but maybe I'm wrong. Also, let me close my window. I, as usual, forget to do it before the stream. Anyway, but as I already said, Haru chose to go to Eleanor to talk about Avalon. So, and now they eating together. I mean, we kinda can ship also Haru and Eleanor, but for me this ship kinda don't work. I don't know. Mostly it seems because Haru see Hagane in Eleanor, or maybe even himself Eleanor, and I don't know. Anyway, so they are eating together, so let's just continue reading, I guess. Where better to start read? Okay, let's start here. Then, let's ask it. When Eleanor spoke those words, I took out a hamburger in this very unbefitting location and unwrapped it. Nam. That was onomatopoeia. Eleanor actually said that aloud as she bit into it. Okay. I couldn't tell if it was because Eleanor's face was small or hamburger was large, or it almost looked like she was being eaten by the hamburger. Okay. Unexpected, placid gaiety of it all made it feel like this wasn't a good time to talk. Let me translate this word for myself because I don't know this word. I can imagine what it's mean or something like this by the context, but I still want to know. Okay. So, something like fun or cheerfulness. Okay. She ate for a while, but half her hamburger was gone before she took a small break. Really, when you haven't had one for a while, it's quite delicious. Saying that, As she wiped the mustard ketchup around her mouth with a napkin, gave a please sign. Normally, it's like that we had the overnight. Oh, no. Cereals, nuts, and such. Why? I mean, I get what she spending a lot of time with her researches and stuff, and mostly in her room, but it is a hotel. Isn't she can just order food for herself, proper food, and not just eat snacks? Anyway, you don't seem to have a very praiseworthy diet. It always become a delay from my work. However, I have quite a bit being prepared for me when I am acting as Suzy Woo. Why not room service? Good question. I tried it a few times, but having to focus on it each and every time became a hassle. Mhm. Like needing to eat with a knife and fork. That's correct. Like needing to eat with a knife and fork. Okay. Eleanor laughed, beating into the hamburger. But if that's the case, you would be addicted to fast food. And yet you said you haven't had any in a while. Yes, that's correct. I try not to eat it normally. The old man, leg off, would become angry. Um, how she want to call him? Um, anyway. She drank her soda, slightly embarrassed as she corrected herself. Because you'll gain weight. I'm told I should gain a little. That's true. Eleanor was a bit too slender. I spoiled it curtly as I took a fry, having my answer wasn't misunderstood like if I was looking at an inappropriate place. Also, if I were to live on such hamburgers, digestion would be difficult and I wouldn't be able to continue working. Well, it makes sense. I suggest more exercise. Well, it's good suggestion, but she already don't want to waste time for more proper food. I don't think she want to waste time on exercise. Well, and nurse said that, then took a fry and elegantly dipped it into some ketchup and bit it down. Watching her daily movements made it feel like I was watching a ballet, and I said, "So, you finished working today, and you're calling it a wrap with a burger." "Why, yes." The nurse said that, beating her hamburger, taking some fries, and drinking her soda. Watching this less than noble dinner scene did leave me feeling a little uncomfortable. No, it wasn't that hamburgers are and noble don't match. It was Eleanor's expression. About Avalon. I had gotten your hopes up for nothing. Hmm. I mean, maybe there is still something gonna be wrong with this data. Like, why they decide to show us this research? I mean, why after decide to do this research at all? Or because it's gonna give some clues in the future? Or just to show what there is harder to find wrong things about Avalon? I mean, both kind of have sense. Yeah. When I said that, Eleanor's hand paused for a second, but she soon picked up a fry and munched down on it with a crunching sound. Not at all. It's always like this, that with corporate investigations, especially for foods you have preconceptions about. She tilted her head slightly, as if cringing, suggesting that it really did happen often. It hasn't made me lose heart that much. Oh, but Nora abruptly added on to what she said. Certainly, I'm not saying I was without expectations. That is not it at all. Please, don't feel concerned. No, honestly. Saying that, Eleanor's expression became dreary. When I looked at Eleanor, she looked up and forced herself to smile. Is it the medicine again? Was not to make her drift off to sleep mid-conversation in the cafe downstairs. But it didn't seem like that. Eleanor shook her head with that wry smile, let out a deep sigh, and stretched out her back. It's of no matter now. Hmm? Hmm. Interesting. Then said, I ask the absurd from you. However, this isn't meant to be compensation for Fool's efforts, but as a token of my gratitude. Um, I spoke out before thinking, interrupting Eleanor. May I? Eleanor smiled, looking at me with her partially eaten hamburger in hand. Her smile was like the somber smile of a little girl in portrait. Yes, please, go ahead. She went at her hamburger, almost, almost as if she was completely to do so, and compelled to do so. Did something happen? Hmm, is it about her problem with your current job as usual? Because it was experienced, but she gonna have big problems after she refused to promote some slimy company, and with that lost money for her bank, or at least bank would supported her. Anyway, I had to ask. Giving up on something because of assumption had fallen true. However, what Eleanor was doing wasn't like that. But Eleanor wouldn't stop. I did on. At work. No. In the investment bank. She paused, looking at me with eyes that seemed almost afraid. I talked to a banker about it. About what it meant to toss aside a 10 million move handling fee. Also, about the kind of position anal, analysts are in. But I believe I'm in this entire time I read this word incorrectly. Analyst. Anyway. Also, about that kind of position analysts are in. I don't think I can be of much help, but I can at least listen. But as much as I said just then, Leon put down the hamburger and smiled. Thank you. I'm grateful for your concern. Um, honestly, Leonard took a deep breath and poured some lukewarm tea from the kettle. I was well aware that this would eventually happen. Heading at her cup that gave off no steam, Leonard took it in both hands as if to take one from it. About the conflict of interest between working as analysts and in an investment bank. While being asked that, I nodded my heart racing. A bit. It is expected. Eleanor smiled a bit, taking her tea. Something in her head. Sorry. Something in her had been honed to the extreme, making it hard to ever remember she had been eating a hamburger. I was asked to evaluate Avalon. Oh, so it's actually not about previous stuff. Okay. Evaluate them alone. Well, it's gonna be definitely hard for her since she totally biased her. What? There's a large scale bond issues. Corporate bonds, that is. Platinum Smith had been slow on the upstart, so they definitely wanted those proposals. Plus, they'd certainly want Avalon to remember them. Avalon to... Outrout, I refused to evaluate Avalon. The pressure had been there for quite a while. However, Harold Bros was already appointed, hence there was no opening for me to squeeze into. They hadn't been too hard on me for that out. Then why this so suddenly? No, I knew. Commission. It's always about money. What's the scale of whose corporate bonds? About 20 billion moles. Before it was 10 billions or... And before it was only 10 millions. Yeah. I don't think he can lose this deal. Like, if she gonna lose so much money for the people who hired her, I don't think they're gonna just fire her. I look at Eleanor, opening my mouth like a fish gasping for air. 20 billion. 20 billion. So, it seems they will enter water work next. The water pipes utilizing the moon gravity to guard the water in Newton City and dispense it. That type of distribution. One question, is it bad when one company starting to control so much stuff? To be honest, like, in my own opinion, I think like so essential stuff like water, electricity, and so on just should be controlled by government and not by some greedy companies. It just it's too much power for companies who pretty much just interested in their money. Oh, anyway. Of collection, presurations require electricity, whose complaint well. Such a nonsensical claim. But the waterways are emerald industries. Exactly. Plus, it's a great leap towards realizing their company greed. No longer a dwarf chasing after a giant, but being shoulder to shoulder with the giants. They really could then seize control of the moon. Eleanor said that, then stole a glance at her hamburger. It had gone cold, and so was certainly grotesque and difficult to see as food. That which was held as the archetype of the industrial food industry, produced by the heights of capitalism. You can never be certain if the issues of 20 billion corporate bonds work out. It is uncharted territory. However, if they do pull it off, then the main handler will be able to pull in a frightening amount of commission. And not 3%, it's 60 million, 600 million. Of course, they'll certainly use multiple investment banks, and the amount will decrease down. That's why Platinum Smith had a chance. Certainly, our bank is the largest investment bank, after all. Nurse said that brazenly, taking a fry. Then, staring at it coldly, she put it back. Okay, so... At least I was wrong. This 20 billion is not what your bank can get, but it's still a lot of money. Mm-hmm. Never said that brazenly, taking a fright. Then staring at it coldly, she put it back. Also, since the training division has major record-breaking profits, my boss, an operations officer, has been placed in a different situation. Suzy Wu is certainly an attractive advertisement beacon, but cannot compete with training division. Moreover, Eleanor was selective with her job. This is probably how things looked from the inside. You might get fired? No, that'd be. Eleanor cringed and spoke. That certainly won't happen. I still have utility value. Hmm? Utility value. Right hand became stiff when she talked about herself as if she were an object. I mean, I guess it is kinda similar to Hagana, and definitely should remind her about Hagana. However, because of that, it was a little something today. Another sign, throwing her gaze out to the Newton City night skyline. I certainly do not believe I can succeed in this line of work, yet I can get answers, but take the abuse head on. That's that is the kind of work this is. Macho, gruff, with nearly no woman, rolled up sleeves, cigars, spirits, they're sacred relics. Tears, cinnamon, and aspirin just can't compete. She looked just like a schoolgirl, tucking into her shoulders and cheerfully explaining something a bit scary that happened at school. But that wasn't the case. Those were what sums were affected, their movements could easily change people's lives. Besides, I have no means to evaluate Avalon. Leon lifted her head quickly and spoke. This isn't a guess or presumption. And if I wasn't in my current situation, it would be the same. And because Avalon doesn't release data for analysis. Did I not give it to you, Hal? Yeah, the list that this was profitable and that was profitable, but there is no explanation of the organization or of the corporation. Yes, also, the West Conference at which analysts were gathered into didn't allow any questioning of the officials. Just listening to the report and writing it down. If you didn't, then you'd lose various commissions and no work would be passed on your way. Our analysts aren't doing this on a whim as I am. Home loans, children's education, big expenses. They must earn their income within this wild bit of an industry. They cannot go against something like Avalon. Pink. That word floated into my mind as I watched Eleanor slump down with her elbows on the table and her forehead resting on top of her hand. I said before, I won't be fired, but there is a chance? Eleanor didn't answer my question. Since there was no chance in that sector would just be impossible. To continue on as usual, I must rate Avalon. But if I were to give Avalon a rating, it could only be a positive one. Could my ethics allow that? Well, but to be completely fair, they still don't have something what gonna prove what Avalon is bad. So right now they don't really have information for giving Avalon a bad rating. Like yeah, we know what Barton and definitely do some shady things, as well as Avalon is a stock company from the Eleanor, but it didn't really say what they should have a negative rating without any more information. Anyway, Eleanor opened her eyes, with her forehead still in her hand, staring coldly at the table. It was the face of one cornered and suffering. I am well aware it's impossible for me to completely have my way. But still, even still, if all were truly proud, customer would buy their stocks from my report. But there is thing. There is so far nothing really saying that Avalon is a fraud. It's probably gonna be in the end, but mm, well, okay, let's be honest. Eleanor is completely biased. And I guess they was saying what intuition is important in stuff like this. Anyway, thereafter, even if I were to find proof of their wrongdoings, would I be able to proclaim it so boldly? She would not do so out of the goodness of her heart and unknowingly. She would do it so because it was imposed on her, because she was fully aware of it, and because she suspected them. Eleanor, having been deceived by Asman and having the company being her family's name crushed mercilessly and brought up, could know such a thing. If I were to do that, I would be same as Iceman. Eleanor completely dropped down. She might have been crying. I don't think I could even imagine such mortification. I was incredibly disappointed by the results of the data Rena had sent. Additionally, I was sorry. It was probably very hopeful. That noose was gradually tightening around her neck, and there could have been a clue to finally cut through it and let her down. She couldn't not be hopeful. My shuffleness and regret made me. The sense of this dining room was fitting of its use as storage room. It didn't even allow for breathing. Leonor raised her head suddenly, sitting a bit while wiping the corners of her eyes with her wrists, and smiled resolutely. It was my grand dream. Eleanor spoke. I spoke involuntarily. Are you fine with that? Of course I'm not. Eleanor screamed. It wasn't like I had an idea to offer. I remained silent, saying nothing. My apologies. But enough. Both your grand dream and her partially eaten hamburger. And they were hot, there was nothing sweeter. But if they became cold, they were disgusting and sticky, and looking at them was unpleasant. It's enough. Well, if Alone is truly a fraudulent company, then that will certainly come out eventually. The longer it takes, the higher they'll be. Iceman as well. I'll just watch their free fall. That's not for me. Hmm, is it? Because it's gonna be a lot of people who gonna fall with them, if it's gonna happen. You couldn't seriously be saying that. She was just forcing herself to say that comfort herself, disregarding how painful it was to her. In that way, it sounded to me like she was blaming me. Again, I wasn't able to help someone. I've done all I could as well. Hitting her face, which looked tired but somewhat relieved, then looked around and spoke. Did all I could. Then, then there was silence. The person saying she'd done all she could trashed her hotel room to this degree to attain her goal. The worst words couldn't ring truer. But what made my heart ache was how to read this word. I know what it's mean. I just not sure how it's really. Egg. But what made my heart ache was that Eleanor's face was that of someone who, given their all, was the face of someone blaming themselves for being unable to accomplish her will, and being forced to crumple to their knees. That's right. Eleanor was not blaming anyone. Eleanor truly was blaming herself for making those irrevocable blunders. Looking at Eleanor like this, it felt like my right hand was cramping. 4 years ago, that black-haired girl who continued to blame herself reached out to me, but I had brushed it off. I could turn back the clock. Didn't think I'd ever brush it away. Never brushed it away again. I think I knew that was most important now. If so, then what should I do now? Where to reclaim a fraction of that I had 4 years ago? What could I do? No, I spoke spontaneously. After saying that, I wondered that nonsense I'd say, but my mouth continued on its own. There is still something. There's one thing that can still be done. That would. Eleanor uttered that, as if baffled. Her eyes became immediately intense. That would be what? And why now, of all times? The obvious question. Eleanor's eyes weren't full of hope. As I said, even if it's to comfort me, don't try and utter nonsense. That was certainly true. But I wrapped my mind around it desperately. Just come up with something, anything. Not often you get a chance. Getting a chance to reclaim something you lost, and life is so rare. Lisa had slapped me on the back and said that to me before. So... And what he gonna realize right now? What he gonna figure out? I definitely started out the words, then... There's no confirmation. But, if possible, there is still something to do. I signed and looked away. That would be? Here's the generators. What? She turned my way without blinking. Certainly, it's here on paper. But that's only a document. And we're solving as now shows the welfare and intuition payment applications. There are guys that pull complex plans. And back 4 years ago, Gordon pointed at the brand on my tablet, in the cafe at the bottom of this hotel. I then blindly believed that there was a mountain of treasure slumbering there, but I didn't check it with my own eyes. I stopped thinking and didn't use my head. I hadn't done everything possible with everything I could have possibly used. It was that I couldn't. I just didn't. If you're really going to quit after pushing the room in this state, shouldn't you at least end with kicking and screaming? Then, if it's still no good, chasing after that searing white light, maybe it could end without it turning into a nightmare. I felt that if this time for sure we tried everything possible, then even if you didn't regain what was lost, you'd at least be able to forgive yourself. Of course, it would be impossible to confirm all of it, but I would want there to be no regrets, unlike how I was back then. Not believing the government documents and going to check those generators a few hundred kilometers away. If there was still nothing, then oh, well. It might not actually be that simple, but I had now stretched my hand out to its limits. Not sure I understand how I felt. I started at Eleanor. But how they gonna to check it? I mean, it's not Earth. It's not like they can just take car and just go over there. And especially it is a lot of land what need to be checked in a lot of places. I mean, if they have money, maybe they can. I don't know. hire someone to check it, or maybe there's some satellites they can uh, pay someone to actually do filming or something, or well, yeah, filming these places from upwards, because if there's not gonna be solar panels, it's gonna be seen anyway. Leonard then also looked at me. Her terrified eyes seemed like they were casting doubt on me. Her head had been stretched out so many times already, only to grasp at nothing. Her head had gone numb, her lids hazy, her tears had dried up, and that hand would yet again flash into the air, wouldn't it? I almost let the word Hagana slip out my mouth. At that moment, Eleanor gave a startling bright laugh. She laughed as thought she wasn't lost. It's railroad. It's supposed to be my dream. But, yes. Eleanor looked at the hamburger, then took it up. I will try just a little more to struggle. However, Eleanor bit into the cold burger and spoke. You'll come as well. What? It won't be a cruise ship. How could I go off into space alone? Now that she mentioned it, that was right. The generations areas there would be a ferry ship for workers. Or if not, then a charter ship. Ah, right. I did suggest it, after all. Then, let us try. The company should surely open their schedule, if I were to say it's for Avalon. That wouldn't be a lie. Eleanor grinned mischievously and spoke. However, honestly, this is supposed to be my dream. There's one thing, like, even if they gonna find out that in one place there is no solar panels or something else wrong, I think it's still not gonna be enough. Because for sake what Avalon is proud, they need a lot of, at least I think they need a lot of more data that gonna prove it. I mean, okay, I guess even if they're gonna call only one place, they still can provoke some investigation about this stuff. Anyway, I learned to look this way, giving a small nod. I shrugged, then looked at my hand. It was a recently emptied paper hamburger wrapper. Eleanor's hand was still the partially eaten hamburger. Thank you. Eleanor uttered that in a low voice, as if not wanting to be heard. Then I hand as I grabbed the empty paper bag into a ball. Okay, so we can say what, and we find him choosing to conversation with Eleanor than being with Chris. This conversation was important after all, and it did help Eleanor a little bit. But what's gonna be now between him and Chris? I guess we're gonna see. I'm not gonna be surprised if you're gonna meet Lisa. That's gonna be really disappointed because you make Chris cry. Anyway, I did some shopping for Lisa and bought a small accessory for Chris, then returned to the church. At the sunset, the cold changed from chilling to painful. Though there were few lights in the outer district, it felt as though the world had ended. Yet, if you looked up, you could see the stars through the dome. This was right in the middle of that 2-week-long night period outside the dome. So, those were the real stars in the sky. It is looking kinda beautiful. There was one thing that had actually improved since the energy price hike. It was that the stars were actually visible at night. That was like Eleanor's story. Eleanor was fighting an obviously losing battle, hanging her to Susie womb in a tiny shred of hope. If that was cut, then certainly nobody would listen to anything she had to say about Avalon. Ground for her accusations were also very shaky. Normally, one would have withdrawn from such a battle before the wounds widened. Wait. Mm, okay. I read, but I don't realize what exactly I read, so I just was reading for myself. Yet I reached out to to that Eleanor was wounded all over. She had almost fallen to her knees, as if I said, "Stand again," as I took her hand. It wasn't done for Eleanor's sake, it's only because in the darkness surrounding Eleanor, several fragments of the light I had lost. It was terrible, I realized that, but I couldn't keep myself from reaching out. Because if I had reached out 4 years ago, then I might not have lost Hagana. I thought of that as I climbed to the stairwell, standing because of the darkness, and head towards the church by feeling my way down the corridor. Finally reaching that I believe was entrance, I turned to reality, thanks to the bit of light creeping out from within. From 4 years ago to then. I opened the church door. Off from the entrance to living room, Isa was resting her cheek in hand on the table as she read a book. Welcome back. Yeah, here. I got what you asked for. And I put the book on the table. Isa looked at it apathetically. She got up from her chair with a troubled face. Didn't the train stop? There were fewer there than usual, and they were crowded. Honestly, Harold did ask if he should send over a generator. I think I should take him up on that. Generator? He said something like it uses microbes to break down raw garbage, make fuel from that process. But he probably just wants me to test some new product. Hmm? Was it something that already exists or not? I can't figure out what they're talking about. Garbage make microbes. I think I hear something about this. Huh. But they should not talk about Chris. So maybe I was wrong. Maybe not everything not so bad. He's working on stuff like that too. That's a bit unexpected. Someone probably adapted him into doing it. He might, he might not look it, but he's pushover. He said, as if to say, good grief, putting the stuff I bought her away into refrigerator and shelves. Then, after putting everything away and falling out the back, he stared at me. So, how did you pick on Chris? Okay, they talking about Chris. What? She's been down ever since she came back. She just holed herself up in her room after she finished eating. Didn't you two need to go somewhere? Something urgent came up. That's all? He said that, then sighed a bit. I know it's not my place to say this, but you really should do something about this. Do something? When I inquired, she scratched her head and looked towards our room and the sanctuary. Please, do you dislike her? Hmm. Being asked outright, I choked. She continued to cast doubtful gaze on me, but when I didn't answer, she asked in a small voice, Agana? That single word caused my body to freeze to a start. It appeared to be all of an answer Lisa needed. Of course I won't tell you to give up, but you need to make things clear. It's cruel to Chris. You're too kind in your strange way. I really couldn't refute it. He sighed once again and called my name. Al, do you feel some sort of weird obligation toward Chris since she saved you? Mm. It was a sensation like I was being pricked with a needle deep in my chest. This is this, that is that. Unless you make a distinction between the two, it's going to leave bitter feeling with you, and Chris too. I was able to recover because Chris had stayed with me these 4 years. I was grateful for that. And of course, it was not like I was unhappy. She had feeling for me. If possible, I would have liked to respond to them. But, just as Lisa said, it might have been simply because I felt indebted for those 4 years. Ghana was still in my heart, taking up a very large part inside me. Because of that, I reached out to Leonor, who was wanted all over. You don't know how you feel, and you should just start doing out. What? There's love that hits you like a thunderbolt. There's love you need to nurture. There aren't many girls like Chris out there. The way she spoke felt like it was some sort of sales speech, but in actuality it may be the case. Also, I was well aware of it myself. Things followed the exact same pattern as when Ren and I went to confirm evidence of abuse of the subsidy program. One had a goal, and I should take rational actions to head towards that goal. If I couldn't forget about Hagana, but couldn't fall in love with anyone else, then why, at this point, wasn't I desperately searching for her? I was simply trying to return to the past. This was always careful and upright about the important thing. And while she was meddlesome, the reason why she had gone out of her way to say it was probably because she saw an inconsistency between my emotions and actions. And because of that, it was almost as if I'd been dead for these past few years. I tried to speak, but I really didn't have anything to say. Hell, just don't forget this. Don't mistake sympathy for affection, obligation, and appreciation too. After Lisa said that, she put the book under her arm and gave a small yawn. I don't want to run up the energy bill, so I'm going to bed. You should take a shower and head to bed too. So, interesting. What's Karu gonna decide here? Is he gonna decide something? Lisa headed off towards her bedroom after saying that, before suddenly going to a stove. Oh, that's right. Lisa sent an invitation to something by out. Yeah, that thing about the program being created, I think. Well, it's just going to be a bunch of strangers there, right? Probably. There are a bunch of research stuff. They said it's in 3 days. Huh? I responded with puzzlement. Lisa showed a rare, displeased furrowed brow. She feels very insecure. Did you forget that that girl is uneasy around people other than us? Oh, well then, night. Lisa left after saying that. Well, alone chilled living room. Look at the small parcel with the gift I'd bought for Chris and Tao. Yet my desire to return Chris' feeling come from sympathy and feeling that I was indebted to her. Also, had I really not given up on Hagana? The fact that I couldn't forget, that I mustn't forget how sad Hagana looked, was I not just simply feeling sympathy for her? I turned to my room, grasping at a problem for which I could find no solution. Then I realized I'd received a message on my tablet. Eleanor. Open it up. It said we leave as early as tomorrow on a chartered trip to visit the generators. But because it was an hour far away, we need to spend the night along the way. It was no problem since I didn't have any real plans. As well as get together wasn't for another 3 days. Isn't it still a little bit too tight? Is he gonna be able to return in time? I responded instantly with my decision, as if I were trying to run away from my situation with Chris. I'll go. I responded instantly, saying to meet at hotel tomorrow around noon. Closed my eyes and sighed. My face bathed in the tablet's long light within that pitch black room. And skip? Yep. Which means good place to stop. We continue with our short streams, but it's not too bad. By the way, I am considering in the future move one stream, well, or hour, just do one less stream on visual novels, because with me struggling with reducing reactions, I definitely need more time. But if this is gonna be the case, we're gonna be doing a longer streams, I believe, because we usually have a little more times. So, well, it's probably something that I'm gonna think in the future. But yeah, it's obviously all for today. So we still gonna have an hour stream on Saturday. But I didn't change. I think I'm gonna change. Well, it's not for this channel, but I'm gonna change first stream for Saturday, I think, Magicraft. Instead of this, we probably gonna play Mihabellum, because, well, as you can see, for my last stream on this week, I gonna take hiatus, and because of that, I kinda don't want to start new game. We already kinda start new RTS, which also not perfect. And because of that, I don't want to start another few games which just gonna say anyway, I just don't want to start new game when we're not gonna continue it immediately in the next weeks. So yeah, because of that, on Saturday we're gonna play Mihabel for the morning stream. But for the END ECONOMiCA, it's gonna be on the evening as usual. But for now, goodbye, have a nice day.